feeding back to everybody else. So,
Better?
try now.
Hello, hello?
Okay, yeah, there we go. So this is Mark Doliner. He was also a previous Pidgin lead developer. He was also the main guy in charge of AIM, or the Oscar protocol, for a very, very long time. So,
Hello. I didn't really have anything to say. I just figured I was here, so I might as well say hi.
so, um,
Mark, were you involved? I was talking a bit about when AOL was trying to block us out, and we had to get hashes of our.
I was around. I think that was before I started developing anything. I think that was mostly you and Adam Fritzler.
Mostly him.
Maybe.
Yeah, I had little to do with it. Okay, and Eric Warmenhoven, actually.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do remember that happening, and it was crazy. And I think I feel like they shared their code with the Trillium people. Maybe. Like I feel like somehow Adam reverse engineered it and then basically let them use his code. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
That sounds about right, because when we had the Yahoo issue, wasn't it mostly Trillion telling us how it worked so that we could code it? Wasn't that like payback for us helping them out?
It was twice that Yahoo had authentication changes to the protocol. And the first time, I reverse engineered it. And the second time they did, and they shared it with us. And I think they were actually accused of, oh, nice mug.
One of a kind.
Mm-hmm. They were accused of, the first time, of just stealing our code and using it after I reverse engineered it.
okay.
And they didn't care for that accusation. And so they actually had me sign an NDA, and they sent me their Yahoo code. I confirmed that they did not just steal our code.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
But there's a good chance they were inspired by it, maybe a bit. But they didn't just rip it off wholesale. And so I kind of defended them on that one. But then the second time when they did reverse engineer it, and then they shared that one with me. I'm not sure if there was any AIM stuff going on. But I do remember, and Mark would remember better, they did release a library for it, I think. Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, well, there was a whole program. It was weird. I think they just went through different management changes.
Yeah.
So initially they were very opposed to third-party clients, and then at some point maybe they just gave up, and then they tried to create a community.
Yeah.
And so they came up with this documentation, and there was the new client login API. They had a website where you could log in and.
Remember when they bought out ICQ, there were conditions on that merger that required them to not be anti-third-party client.
Yeah, that might be the reason. So they had a website where you could apply for development keys, and then you would use those keys to log in, which I think is what we've been using even up until now. I think they took down the website, but our keys still work. And so every now and then someone will message us or message me or somebody in the project and say, hey, how do I register for a key? And the response is, you can't, but use ours because it probably doesn't matter.
They did actually issue new keys earlier this year, or was it late last year? I don't remember. And there was a deadline for it, and we were supposed to have it all done. So we're working with them, trying to get it done. And this was that whole AOL shutting down third-party clients, blah, blah, blah. And they were saying they wanted to get just kind of clear out the cruft from all the people over the years kind of thing. So it's kind of just disable all the keys. Whoever's actually still here, okay, come apply for a new key and we'll go that way. So one of their product managers or something messaged the support list, I think it was. And we worked out, we got new keys. We did a release for it and all of it, which as I was talking to Sean earlier, he was saying he was on Pidgin 210. But there's a thing that said you need to have Pidgin 212 to use AIM. And I'm pretty sure that was there, but we added the new keys, but we added them in addition to the old ones, and everything still just worked. So,
John, where are you? Is there a palm tree in the background? Are you on a boat? Is that the mast?
No, that is a concrete pillar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like imagining all these things like.
Nah, that's way more evocative.
These, I don't know.
No.
Oh,
Just structural concrete.
Mark, since you might have missed that before, what we're doing here is we're just kind of going around the horn about like how you got involved in Gaim, how you got involved maybe in AIM or AOL itself, and all that as well. So I think seniority-wise, you're next.
Sure. So in 2001 or maybe 2002, I was at NC State, and there was a course that was like intro to open source, kind of. It was like a 1-credit course instead of a 3-credit course. And it might have just been like a one-off thing, like they just decided to do it. And so I signed up for that with a friend of mine. And part of we had this assignment where we were supposed to basically contribute something to an open source project. And so we had been using Pidgin, and one of the things that was lacking was I guess, so your buddy list, your contact list, it wasn't, well, maybe it would be stored on the server, but Pidgin was unable to retrieve it. And so, like, if you signed in with Pidgin, then you would have to go through and add all of your friends one at a time, which is pretty tedious. So the thing that we wanted to do, and we knew that, like, the official, the AIM clients, they had the ability to, like, save your buddies on the server and then download the list when you sign in. So we reverse engineered, like, the protocol for fetching the contact list, and then we implemented it in libfaim, which was the AIM Oscar library, and then I think eventually it got accepted into Pidgin, and so that was sort of my first contribution. Yeah, I think actually it was one of the things, like there's a term when somebody does the code review for the patch, it's they really Warmanhoved it.
Or, yeah. Oh, I forgot to reach out to him.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a patch that I made, but I think Adam Prisler reviewed it and made like significant changes, as what Warmanhoven would do. Yeah, so I started the patch, but I think he finished it.
Gotcha.
That's my memory anyway. I don't know, I could be wrong. This was like 14 years ago.
I hate to burst your bubble, but it's more like 16.
I can't count either.
I'm like, I've been on the project for 14 and a half, so. So, all right, anything else you want to
add? No, I do have this one memory. So at some point we did the Windows port, right? And I think Herman Blogs was maybe the main person. And I feel like that was an alias. And I'm not sure what his real name is, but I feel like there's some mystery. I just wanted to bring it up in case somebody is in the mood to resolve a mystery. Like, I feel like Blogs, like, that can't be a real last name.
I know his real name. It is a pseudonym.
And there's not a liberty. I don't want to, like...
I'm not going to say it. He had a reason for using a pseudonym.
It's very mysterious, though.
Right.
You know, I never imagined that was a pseudonym. I don't know why. I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's his name.
That thought never occurred to me either.
Yeah, I think somebody, I don't know who it was, but I feel like somebody else pointed it out. Like, maybe this isn't his real name. And I was like, oh, I never thought about it. But yeah, you're right.
I think the blogs thing is more of like a Britishism. It's like, like we might use John Smith or something. And like, I think blogs is like, oh, it's Bill Blogs or something like that. It might be a different a different country that uses that as a convention.
So you're saying he could be like a part of the royal family?
No, I'm saying,
okay.
Yeah, because that might be why it didn't occur to us Americans that it was a pseudonym.
Oh, I see.
You know,
I think I read into it too far.
Jeez.
I mean, that's a much cooler story, though, if it's like Prince Harry was writing code or something.
It's possible.
It's possible.
That's who it was. You figured it out. He was actually a TiVo hacker.
Prince Harry?
Yeah. And Herman Blogs. But he was a TiVo hacker, and he wrote like a little game plugin to put your messages, overlaid on the TV screen while you're watching TiVo. And then I put that on like the TiVo hackers, website or whatever, and then everyone started complaining. It's like, well, I don't use Linux, I can't do it. And so he ported Gaim to Windows just to satisfy the couple of TiVo hackers who wanted to get there. Because I think after that, he mostly kind of disappeared for a bit. He did all separate into porting it originally. And then, Richard took over.
That's insane. Like, oh, you can't use this feature. Yeah, we'll just make it run on Windows. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. It was like way more effort than just putting the messages on the TV screen, right?
Well, it's like even building for Windows now is just crazy. Like all the ways you got to deal with the dependencies for GTK and all that. It's just nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So that blows my mind.
At some point, I might have to leave and go help raise a daughter, just as a warning. If I disappear.
All right. Yeah, no worries. So, all right. Well, John or Richard, either one of you want to go next?
I can go next.
All right.
AIM was my second instant messenger.